China, we mostly order food and we share.
Times when I go out to a restaurant, we order individual food.
Americans usually order individual food.
Unless you're at like a family-style restaurant, which they do have here, that's usually Italian food, where there'll be like big portions, but for the most part, at most restaurants, you order your own individual meal.
For Chinese people, I think they would like to order a lot of food at one time.
In my family, my mother usually do the ordering, and she will order a lot of food.
So every time, like we prefer to order everything at the one time, like at the beginning, because there is like everything on menu. So we just like prefer everything to appear on the table at the one time. And if we can just not finish it, we will always like pack it and take it home.
Well, we would mostly order out from Chinese restaurants.
We usually get kind of what we each want, but we end up like sharing everything.
But if we went to a Chinese restaurant, then we would get individual food.
It's our tradition or culture. We were born to have this habit.
Ordering food individually is like a weird social norm here.
There's this Korean restaurant near my hometown in New Jersey, and the menu is literally just like a piece of paper, and you check off all the ingredients you want in this big stir-fry bowl, and like depending on how many ingredients you order, that's for how many people you have. And so I usually just go with one other person, so you pick like 8 to 10 items, and they just bring you out like this giant bowl that you share. And so that's something that wouldn't really be, like I've never seen that in American culture.
When people gather together, sometimes they just celebrate some events, so they would like to order a lot to show their happiness or their excitement.
But I would only order food to share with people who I know well, or where I feel like we already have that established as part of our relationship, just because it can be seen as sort of weird or sort of intimate.
When I was a freshman, so I just tried to invite my 2 American roommates to celebrate my birthday. So I take them to the Chinese restaurant and order 5 dishes to say I am so welcome that you come to my birthday. However, I find that one of them just only eat seafood, and one of them like prefer only chickens because her religion's belief, and both of them doesn't really like animal organs, which Chinese people love a lot. So I was so awkward because I ordered like 5 dishes, but like only 2 of these 5 dishes they can have.
If you know me, I don't really like to share food unless otherwise stated, so if we make that agreement at the restaurant that we're gonna order 2 meals and share, then it's okay. But if I order my own meal, do not expect me to share my food with you.
But also there are some times, like some restaurants, those high class restaurants, they offer the option of ordering individually, like some soup they'll order in serve by like what kind of soup you like and how many people you serve, and it's relatively expensive. So if I was out with just my families, we don't do that. But if there are some other guests or like my father's friends, we'll do that.
But I think in most of the time, I feel like if we order separately and we only have our own meals, we can only just try one thing at one time.
Ordering food to share is way more convenient and in some ways easier.
If we do sharing, so we can try many different things.
But, you know, it can be, people can be weird if they want more of something, or like there can be weird like fights about it. I feel like Americans are really weird and territorial about their food.
The only time I really share food is if I can't decide what to get, and then my friend or whoever is like, oh, well, I'll get this and you can have some, and then you get this and then I can have some. So like that's kind of what I'll do if we share. If we can't make up our mind, we'll just order 2 meals and then split them.
One most serious issue for me for sharing food is the hygiene issue. I always feels like uncomfortable when I share food with some people I first met.
You don't have to be worried because there are always public chopsticks for you to pick up from the plate and then to your own plate, and then you eat it with your own chopsticks.
when you go to Chinese restaurant, you can try to ask whether you can have a free dessert after your meal, because sometimes the Chinese restaurant would like to offer you free desserts such as a red bean soup, like very traditional Chinese things. So it's worth to try.